Hello beautiful people, and welcome to the latest Perception Trainers video. In this video, we are going to be talking about why you are looking for a quick fix on your spiritual, personal growth, self-love path, why you probably don't know that you're doing this, and why it's totally hindering you. And I want to give you some tools, some techniques, some mindset shifts to help you shift from being someone who's looking for a quick fix to someone who's in this for the long haul. Because overall, this is going to be the thing that totally changes your life and gives you all the stuff that you really want with your quick fix that you're looking for. It's essentially to help you understand that the thing that you want is not going to come from what you think it's going to come from. And in a lot of ways, what you really want and what you think you want are two different things. Okay? So that's going to be the point of this video. And we're going to get into some deep stuff, and so I really want to just get you to relax. Don't necessarily try to hear everything that I'm saying or understand it intellectually, but to just let yourself feel what's coming through in this video, okay? Because this is coming from a very, very, very deep place of compassion and love from within me. Because I've been doing this work for a long time, and I've done this like with myself and with other people, and I just know how frustrating it is. I know how hard this is. I know how hard the awakening path is. I know how hard self-love is. I know how difficult it is to change your life and to get to a place where you feel liberated and all of these things that we're all searching for. So I really want to just help today, to take some of the burden off, take some of the pressure off, and to help you relax into the path that's really going to serve you, okay? Now, just a quick little admin note. I just want to mention that even though these videos aren't happening as often as they used to, the Perception Trainers content is not slowing down, okay? So I post a blog every Monday on the website. I post every day on Instagram. In the Mystery School, there's still 2 videos a week, plus a discussion group. I'm constantly writing new material. I'm adding stuff to the website where I'm putting resources together so that things are all in one place. Like I have a new post where I've categorized all the stuff that I have for eating disorder, body dysmorphia, and all that stuff all in one place. So essentially just to say to stay up with the website, because there's lots of stuff still coming out, free content still coming out all the time. I'm not slowing down on any of that. Everything's just happening in different ways, all right? So that's that. Okay, now let's get to the good stuff, all right? So the reason that I'm making this video is because in myself and in others, in the communities that I'm running, especially in the Mystery School, and with the comments that I get on these videos and on my blogs and all these things, is this huge tendency I see in our world today. So not just in the spiritual community, not just in the self-love, self-help community, but just everywhere, is this tendency to believe that there's some answer to our suffering, to our problem, to whatever we're going through. That's going to be this holy grail, okay? There's going to be this meditation, or like this one meditation that's just going to completely blow open our consciousness and we're going to understand everything. There's going to be this one diet program that's just going to make sense, it's just going to click, and our whole bodies are going to change. There's going to be this one session that we do with somebody, or this one video, or this one revelation, or this one insight, or this one tool that we're going to use 1 or 2 times that's just going to completely change our lives. And we're looking for this. We're looking for this quick fix. We're looking for this solution, and assuming that if what we're doing isn't making us feel better right now, isn't making us feel better right away, isn't leading to a massive change in our life that we can just like say, like, this was the thing and it changed my life. Like I went on the raw foods diet, or I tried this meditation, or I did this journaling exercise, and it just clicked this thing for me, and now I'm in my after. That the thing doesn't work, or that we're doing something wrong and we're missing something, and we have to keep looking and keep searching to try and find the thing, all right? And this is something that our culture trains us to be like, right? There is absolutely in our culture this understanding, this idea that if something's going to work, it should work right now. It should make me feel better right now. I should get instant results. There should be some instant gratification. It should make me feel better, not ever make me feel worse. And that it should work quickly. All right? And this, I think, is the first thing that we all need to just take a step back and really understand why this is not the case with spiritual work, with this path that you're on. And we're going to get really deep into that today. Why this is not the case, why you're looking for that, what you're actually wanting, what's really going on in your perception, so that you can start to shift where you're perceiving and how you're perceiving into a much healthier view of the world and yourself and this path, so that you can actually do the work and actually take the journey that's going to lead you where you want to go. Okay? Because I promise you, no matter how you're suffering, no matter what's going on with you, if you're in a state of suffering, okay, you're in a state of like, this has been a problem in my life for a long time, or this problem that I'm facing right now has evolved over time. It used to kind of be this, and now it's this, and this, and this. I've always got this like underlying discontent, this sadness, this depression, this not feeling not good enough. I'm constantly driving myself. You know, if I look back on my history, my world has been mostly suffering. The first thing we need to understand is that if that is the case, which it is for all of us, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, we are not one step away from bliss. Okay? We're not. We're not one tool. We're not one exercise. We're not one practice. We're not one thing away from ultimate realization. Okay? That is a fantasy. Okay? This idea that we're going to spontaneously awaken or spontaneously heal or spontaneously just turn a corner and life will never be the same again and we all stop suffering, or we stop suffering, that is not a reality. And I know that no one wants to hear that, okay? And a lot of spiritual teachers talk about having these awakening experiences and these aha moments that just change their life forever, and I don't want to call them liars, and I'm not calling them liars. What I want to say is this. It is possible to have a deeply profound perceptual shift, okay, that changes the way you see life in such a way that you don't suffer in the way that you used to suffer anymore. That's possible. But the idea that you're going to have some sort of transformational experience that's going to stop life from happening to you, that is a fantasy. Okay? And if that's what you're looking for, and I know that a lot of people are looking for that, and again, we kind of have to be honest with ourselves about what we're looking for, that if that's what you're looking for, you're going to be very disappointed and you're going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off forever. Okay, now let's back up and let's get to the root of this, okay? We all come to our self-help and our personal growth and our spirituality and whatever it is because we're suffering. This is the nature of the human condition, all right? We are all in a state of suffering and we're trying to get out of it. So this is what is common to all humans, okay? Where our suffering comes from is also common to all humans. We have suffered trauma, all right? And all that trauma is life happened in a way that we didn't understand, and we have been told that who and what we are is wrong and bad. Those are the two traumas that every single human being, no matter who you are, no matter where you're born, no matter who your parents are, no matter anything, are going to face in their lifetime, all right? So us humans are not that different from one another, right? The specific traumas that we face are unique to each one of us, but the overarching what's happening to us as human beings is essentially the same for everybody, all right? Something happened that we thought shouldn't have happened. We don't understand why it happened. That's one type of trauma. Something didn't happen that we really expected to happen, and we don't understand why it didn't happen. That's a second type of trauma. Third thing, something happened that we just simply don't understand. We don't know why that happened. We can't understand the cause and effect relationship that's going on, and therefore life is scary. So for all these three things, we have this underlying now kind of overarching trauma that says the world isn't safe. It's unpredictable. I don't understand how life is happening. I don't understand why life is happening. Threat can happen that I don't understand, and therefore I am unsafe. Okay? That's the first group of trauma. Life is unsafe because I don't understand it. Human condition, yeah? Second thing, right? Just like all of us, we have all been told that who and what we are is going to get us rejected. That it's going to make people not like us. It's going to make society not like us. It's going to lead to our being rejected and abandoned. And because we have a developmental trauma from being children who were dependent upon our parents to keep us alive, and it was their love and affection for us, our caretakers, and it was their love and affection for us that kept us alive, that says if we're rejected, we're going to die, right? So we have these two kind of warring parts of ourselves. The part that wants to be authentic and knows that this is the way to life, to be authentic. And the part that says, but if I'm authentic, I'm going to get rejected and I'm going to die. So there's this dueling kind of feeling like we're going to die either way. We feel like we're going to die if we don't be ourselves. And we feel like we're going to die if we are ourselves. And therefore, we have these two traumas. Life is unsafe and I can't predict it. And if I am who I am, I'm going to get rejected and I'm going to die. But if I don't be myself, I'm going to die. So we all have this. This is where we come to. This is what we're dealing with as a human on this planet, right? And so the first thing to understand, okay, is that when we're in these states of trauma, this is not because we've made a mistake. Nothing has gone wrong. This is the point of being a human, is to face these traumas and to work through them. This is what we're here to master in our lifetime. This is what we're here to do. Your traumas are your purpose. Okay? They're intrinsically linked to who and what you are as a human being, right? So who and what you are as an authentic person is someone who's here to express something. Okay? And what you're here to express is an evolution on reality. You are here to understand reality, how it works, so the universal perspective. Understand yourself, how you work, the individual perspective. And to take those two things, all the experiences that your perception filter and your specific way of being, your age, your race, your gender, where you were born, the specific experiences that you have had that have filtered out all these possibilities of everything that you could do, be, see, know, and have, that have made your life specific. That is your life purpose. To live that specific life, understand the laws of the universe through your traumas. Okay? That's what your traumas are there to do. They're there to say, okay, this is what you're supposed to learn about life. Here's what you don't understand, and that's the stuff that traumatizes you because you're here to understand that stuff. That's what you're here to do. You're here to go on the journey of not understanding that, being broken against the laws over and over and over again so that you can understand it, and then seeing that all of those things that you went through as your traumas, the things you didn't understand, the things that happened to you that were painful and harmful and made you feel like life was unsafe and you were unsafe and all of these things. You're going to learn from those things how life actually works. And then you're going to see how that completely ties into who and what you are and what you have to offer here. Okay? So these two traumas are actually the foundation for who and what you are and your evolution. So suffering is not wrong. Traumas are not wrong. What you don't understand about life is not wrong. You're not supposed to understand it. You're here to not understand it and to learn from that misunderstanding. You not being able to express as your fullest self and being told that everything that you are about you is wrong, that is not a mistake. That is what you need to go through to become the type of person who can express the next evolution of consciousness. Okay? So none of these two things are wrong. Neither of these two traumas are incorrect. You shouldn't already know what you don't know. And you shouldn't already be able to be who and what you are freely. That is the point of your life. That is why you're here. So this is why, first and foremost, there is no quick fix on the awakening path. There is no thing that's going to get you there, because it's going to be a constant evolution. It's going to be a constant evolution. The part of your life where you're suffering and you're in trauma and you're grappling with not understanding life, not understanding yourself, not knowing who you are, not knowing what parts of yourself you're repressing, not understanding the aspects of yourself that are all lost and confused, you're in trauma drama. That is the main learning part of your life. It's so important, okay? So, and we're going to get into this, but the biggest thing that I want to say here is that there is no quick fix for that stuff, because it's the point of your life. Your traumas are not the thing that are holding you back from living your dream life. Your traumas are not the thing that are holding you back from living your dream life. Your traumas are the very things that you need to go through, that you need to understand, okay? That you need to have broken yourself against, misunderstood, not gotten, suppressed, done, rebelled against, done all these things, so that you could learn what you need to learn to live your dream life. It is only because of your traumas that you will be able to live your dream life. So really let that sink in right now, okay? You are not here to get rid of your trauma, and you are not here to just figure out this quick fix way to like be yourself so that you can do that. That is the point of your life. And these two things are how you're going to get there, okay? So we all come to this spiritual path because we're suffering and we want to get out of our suffering. And then the world tells us that there is a quick fix to pain. There is a quick fix. There's something either wrong with you or wrong with the world. And if you just figure out that little thing, how to get rid of your suffering, how to get rid of your negative beliefs, how to get rid of it, you're going to be able to just be this free, happy, awesome, living in bliss person. And maybe there will be a meditation or a journaling exercise or something rather that's going to help you see how you're holding yourself back, or all your false beliefs, or anything like this. And then you're going to be free, and suffering is going to stop happening, and you're going to be living in your happily ever after. And that if the thing that you're doing isn't giving you that, it's not making you feel better right now, it's not giving you these results today, yesterday, in a couple of minutes, that it's not going to work. It's not working. You're doing something wrong. You've missed something. You need help. Ask a teacher. Ask somebody. Read the other book. Look for something else. And so we're all running around like chickens with our heads cut off, thinking that if we're doing our practices and they're not working, right? We're not feeling better. We're not getting it. We're not integrating. We're not seeing the parts that we're not, right? Even if we get on this self-love path where we're saying, okay, it's just a lot of repressed stuff, right? I'm suffering because I'm not being my true self. So what am I repressing? And if this thing isn't helping me see that right now and helping me to express it right now and therefore feel better right now, I'm doing it wrong, or it didn't work, or it's not working, okay? And this is what we all need to see, that this isn't the thing. This isn't going to help us. This is going to keep us trapped and stuck on our path forever if we're doing this, okay? So we're all bouncing around because we think that there should be this solution to our suffering that makes us feel better right here, right now, or an insight or a revelation or something that's going to just completely radically change our world. And what I'm here to say is that is not the case. That is not the case. That will never be the case. And if you're looking for that to be the case, you actually will not transcend. Okay? So now, let's get into the suffering. And again, the reason we come to all of this work is usually because we're realizing, we're seeing in ourselves that we have these self-sabotaging behaviors. We have these parts of ourselves that are acting in ways that look like they're acting against us. We have the binge, we have the purge, we have the overspending, we have the terrible relationships, we have the job situation that we can't get right, or the money situation that we can't get right. We're in debt, we're fighting all the time, we're constantly getting married and divorced. We can't find the love of our lives. We have this thing, right, that is this personality characteristic or this thing in our life that we think, this is what's wrong with me. And if I could just fix this, If I could just get rid of this, everything would be great. I'll be better. I'll be who I want to be. And we're just genuinely very convinced, for good reason, that this is my problem, or these two things are my problem, and if I can just get rid of these two things, fix these two things, I'll be in bliss. I'm going to be this person that I want to be. I'm going to be happy. And what we need to understand is that the truth is, there is no bad part of you. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Everything that you think is the thing that's wrong with you, or the thing that's holding you back from being able to be who you want to be, that self-sabotaging part of you, that habit, that mindset, that way that you behave, that way that you act, that is where the most gold for your path actually is. Okay? Because that part of you is the part of you that suffered the trauma, that has suffered trauma in your life. Things happened that you didn't understand. You were told you need to be a way that you don't know, that you can't be, or that you, right, or that the way that you are is wrong. And these are the coping mechanisms you have developed to try to save yourself. Okay? Your self-sabotaging behaviors, everything you think is wrong with you, is actually there to protect you. It's there to protect you from the world that you don't understand, and from being this person that you genuinely believe is going to get you rejected and therefore killed. Okay? So as hard as we may try to get rid of these parts of ourselves, and everything that we do to try and fix it and change it and make it better, it's never ever going to work. Because your subconscious mind is never going to let go of it. So long as you don't understand what that thing is trying to protect you from, you don't understand what actually happened, and you don't figure out a way of fully loving yourself to the point where you are willing to be who and what you are in this world, even though everyone's going to reject you. Okay? You're never going to improve your thing out of yourself, because it's the thing that's there to protect you. It's protecting you. Okay? So this is why I talk about the self-love path the way that I do. There is never going to come a time where you have a thing that you discover about yourself that is really just there to fuck you over. And that you just need to use your willpower or be strong or discipline it out of yourself. It's never going to happen. Because every single thing that you do, every single thing that you are, every characteristic that you have developed, no matter how hateful you think that it is, or how painful you think that it is, or harmful you think that it is, it's helping you. It is what is helping you cope with a world that you don't understand. And so you are never going to get rid of it. You're never going to get rid of it. There is no way to get rid of it. There's one thing that you can do. You can understand it, and then you can allow it to lead you to understanding what you have misperceived about the reality, understanding what you have misperceived about yourself, and change your perception about the world in such a way that empowers you to live differently. Okay? So this is huge, and I really need you to understand this. So long as you're fighting with any part of yourself, you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to get anywhere. Because it is that very part that's protecting you. And again, if you are working from a place of fighting with this part, you're not understanding what you're not understanding, and therefore you will always need that part. Because it's helping you cope with a life that you don't understand. And until, so that's why, okay, so these self-sabotaging behaviors, these parts of ourselves that we don't like, all this stuff that we think my life will be better when this is gone, that is where you need to go. And that is where you need to spend the most time and give the most love. And this is where your greatest challenge is going to be. Okay? And this is why I say that this self-love path, this awakening path, this growth path has no quick fix. Because it is truly about facing your deepest traumas, the stuff you don't understand about yourself and the stuff you don't understand about life, and learning to see things in a completely new way, and shifting our perspective, shifting our perceptions about life is incredibly difficult. Okay? Because number one, most of us don't even know how we're perceiving. We don't even know what we're perceiving. We don't even know the stories that we're telling ourselves because it's all so assumed. Yeah? It's so ingrained. It's something that it's just, we think that this is how everyone sees this. We think this is how everyone perceives what we're perceiving. This is how everyone would feel if this happened to them. So that's the first thing. We're not even aware of it. The second thing, we're not even aware of how it might be out of alignment with true reality because it feels so real to us. It's our filter. It feels so real to us. And we've built up so many stories around our misperceptions of reality. And the mind is so good at this that, again, we are convinced of our thing. We are convinced of what we think of reality, yeah? And what we think of ourselves. So the truth is, for you to live the life that you're dreaming of, where you're living as this authentic version of yourself who's in a state of joy and bliss most of the time, what I'm going to tell you is this. The things that it's going to require, the things you're going to have to do, the things that you're going to have to become, the things that you're going to have to say, right now, are the things you have promised yourself you would never do, you would never become, and you would never say. Okay? This is going to be a big part of it. You're going to have to see that so many of the rules that you've made up about life are not true. And that so much of becoming this person that you want to become is going to be about facing these deeply held core root beliefs about what life is and who you are and what you are and are not allowed to do, and completely rebelling from them. So right now, most of us are not ready to truly reveal to ourselves what it's going to take to live this afterlife. Okay? So this is the second thing. You're not even aware of what you're not aware of. You're not even aware of how you're perceiving things and how it's doing that. And you're not even aware of how your perceptions are completely contradicting how reality actually functions, and how you're going to have to so radically change the way you think and be and act in this world that are going to go against all of your conditioning. Okay, so again, this isn't your fault that you think this way. It's not your fault that you have this resistance to becoming yourself. It's not your fault that what you are going to have to do to become the person that you're here to be is so diametrically opposed to what you think is a good person right now. It's not your fault. That's your conditioning. Okay, and again, that happened for a reason. That is exactly, again, the part of your journey, a huge part of your journey. Okay, so when we start to understand this, okay, that our self-sabotaging behaviors are things we don't even understand. If we're judging them as wrong, right, we're so far from understanding them. Okay, so we're not one step away from liberation. We're many, 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 many steps away from liberation, right? Second thing, that our traumas are protecting us from a reality we don't understand. So now we're going to have to first figure out what it is we're even thinking about reality, and second, figure out how it's wrong, and third, figure out what real reality is. And all of this is going to be completely diametrically opposed to your conditioning, which again, you're probably not even aware of. So you see how there is no quick fix here? This is not a fast journey. We suffer because we're out of alignment with reality, and we're deeply out of alignment with reality. We're so out of alignment with reality, it's not like, oh, here's reality and here's what I think and I can just choose between these two today. It's literally, this is what I think reality is. Here's what reality actually is, and I can't even see that. I can't even see that this is a filter and that this is true. I can't even see that this is my conditioning and this is what's really happening. I can't even see that this is a story I'm telling myself and this is the actual truth. Okay, so if that's a little discouraging, I totally understand. But I didn't mean to discourage you. But I wanted to show you why none of us are one step away or one thing away from healing our traumas. None of us are a tool away or an exercise away or a revelation away or an insight away from ending our suffering. Okay? Because our suffering is our lifetime of work. People say that the point of life is to suffer, and it's like, I don't think that that is true in the sense of we're just here to just continually suffer. The point is that our suffering, again, is a huge part of our path. It's about us learning how reality works through taking reality all apart, opposing it, not understanding it, being confused about it, making up stories about it, seeing how we break ourselves against it over and over and over again, and eventually learning to come into alignment with reality. So now, this is the point of this video. How do we actually do this? How do we let go of looking for this quick fix that's going to solve all of our problems today or make us feel better right now, and to get on a path where we're actually moving towards true seeing of reality, and I want to talk a little bit about the kind of like the true after versus the fantasy after, okay? The true after is this. Yes, you will suffer less. Okay? When you really get on this path and you're really doing this work and things are starting to click for you, you will suffer less. You will start to understand why things are happening the way that they are happening. You will be able to feel like you have more control over how your reality unfolds because you will understand how reality works. Okay? There's going to be less of this, holy shit, why did that happen? Or I don't understand this. Or like, I have these desires and I'm trying to manifest them and I can't get them to happen. I want to say this, right? In my life, I have radically changed everything about my life. Okay? So everything that I wanted to manifest in my life, I have. At this point, and I'm not saying this to brag, okay? I'm saying this as a picture of a true after looks like, okay? I've manifested everything that I've ever wanted, and better than I ever thought, and I understand how I got here, okay? None of it was like magic. All of it was one step at a time, figuring out how life works, and realizing what I needed to do to make my dreams come true, okay? I didn't just sit around and wait for $1 million. Not at all. It was a lot of work. I took a lot of steps, and I did a lot of things, and I confronted all of my fears, and like I say, it was all of this, right? But ultimately, yes, I have created the life for myself that I've wanted. And at this point, I'm kind of hesitant to claim a desire at this point because I pretty much know that I'm going to get what I want. And I'm having difficulty deciding what I want a lot of the time because I know I'm going to get it. And that's kind of like a funny place to be, where you know you're going to get what you want. You're a lot more careful with what you wish for because, yeah, it's really about how dedicated you are to the thing. But anyways, that's one thing. The second thing is I am a radically different person. So this is not to say that this was all perception shift and then my life just magically changed, or perception shift and now I'm just fine with the reality that I was in. Neither of these two things, okay? This work is this spiral of going in, getting a new perception, seeing where you're seeing things incorrectly, seeing where I was seeing things incorrectly, seeing where my version of reality and actual reality did not align, changing my perspective, right? Letting go of what I thought was true and opening up to what was actually true, what was actually happening, what was actually unfolding, accepting reality for how it was, and then saying, okay, now what do I want to do with this? And then making a change, okay? So I didn't run away from what I didn't want. I wasn't trying to get away from my suffering. I used my suffering to show me what reality really was, to show me what my desires really were, and then to move towards what I actually wanted, okay? This is very different from just trying to get away from my self-sabotaging behaviors. That does not work. I did not get on this path to feel better, okay? And we're going to get into this as we go along. But this is the biggest thing. It wasn't about feeling better, and that's why I've been so successful. That's why I've been able to get to this quote-unquote afterlife. Okay, third thing about being in the afterlife. It's not an after, okay? Really, I do not suffer in the way that I used to suffer. Absolutely. I can say that without a doubt. I am happier now than I've ever been. I have actual joy. All these things are true. I have understanding about, I feel less of a victim. I know how things work. I feel confident. I feel like an adult in my life. However, there's still things that I'm doing. There's still things that I'm learning. There's still emotions that I'm feeling. I still suffer. in just different ways. But the biggest thing that's shifted is, again, my perception of all of it. All right? I no longer see my life as looking to get to this thing and then I'll be happy. Okay? I'm able to be happy in whatever is going on in my life right now. And sometimes that stuff isn't fun. Sometimes that's sitting in my really painful emotions that I still haven't processed. Sometimes that's having some old mindsets that are still telling me that I should be doing this and should be doing this and should be doing this when my true self wants to do this. And I'm struggling inside to like figure out who and what I should be doing and what I am and all of this. And that's a part of it. Okay? But the thing is that, again, the underlying core root foundation of my life is no longer trying to become this perfect person who no longer feels anything, who no longer has experiences, who is perfect, right? Who no longer suffers, who knows everything, who's had every experience and is not learning anymore. I'm no longer making learning mean that I was wrong. So I can enjoy my life. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm going to be different in 10 years than I am today. Hopefully a lot different. And that doesn't make where I am right now any less enjoyable or any less correct or any less, anything less. And this is the big thing, okay? I feel empowered to be able to handle whatever comes my way. That's the true after state. I don't feel like a victim to my life, ever. I don't feel like things happen to me. I never feel like life has gone wrong, okay? The true perceptual shift that took place that enabled me to not suffer the way that I was suffering before was this idea that life is correct, that I'm always going to be learning, and that whatever I'm looking at, whatever traumas I'm facing, are exactly what I need to learn about the reality to become the person that I want to become. That all the stuff that I'm facing with my conditioning and what I have been told I should and should not be, and all of these fears that I have about being my true self and stepping out and being this, and this is a continual thing for me too. I'm not at ultimate self-fulfillment, and I hope I never am. I'm still coming up against the conditioning that tells me I shouldn't be that way. And I've just learned how to say, okay, I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to learn to love myself even if other people reject me. And this is the thing, like, all my worst fears have happened. That's another thing that I want to let you guys know, is that on this path, on this journey, it hasn't been comfortable. It hasn't been comfortable. It's been very uncomfortable. And I faced all my deepest fears, and I've had to be the person that I promised myself I never would be. I've had to do the things that I promised myself I'd never do. I've had to look at my conditioning in the face and be like, okay, well, I'm going to have to abandon that. And it's fucking scary. Okay? But again, the difference is I trust. I trust. I trust that life is real. I trust that life is more than my conditioning. I trust that reality is more powerful than the consensus reality, because I've had enough experiences of trusting the flow and trusting the process and committing that I've gotten these results, that it's a lot less scary, okay? So this is the true after. Yeah, your suffering will be less because more or less your perception of suffering will be different, and the way that you interact with life will be different, and the way that you see your life is going to be different. So I no longer have parts of myself that I hate and that I'm trying to get rid of. Not because I'm perfect, but because I understand that anything that I'm doing that's hurting myself or harming myself on any level is innocent. It's something I just still don't understand. And so I love those parts. I literally give myself full and complete permission to be in my shit forever. I am not trying to improve myself. I give myself permission to stay down in my shit forever. Every time something comes up that it's like, okay, I don't want to heal from this, I don't want to deal with this, this is my bad thing that I'm doing that's hurting me, but I say, okay, great. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for protecting me. You can stay here forever. That's how I learn what it is there to teach me. And sometimes it takes a long time. So now let's get into this, all right? So how do we actually shift from being a quick fixer to being someone who's really on this path? We are going to start to integrate the 3 C's. All right? So the first C is compassion. As we move from someone who's looking for a quick fix to someone who's truly on this path, you're going to start to make compassion the foundation for everything that you do. All right? So when you do a meditation practice and something comes up, rather than thinking, okay, what do I do with this insight? You have compassion for yourself. When you come up against a self-sabotaging behavior, a self-sabotaging thought, you're coming up against all these negative emotions and all of this pain and all of this trauma and all of this turmoil, you have compassion for yourself. You stop using everything as a reason to beat yourself up, tell yourself you're doing something wrong, you should have known better, you should know better, you should do better, you should be better. And you start to say, no, I'm doing this for a good reason. I'm in pain for a good reason. I'm suffering for a good reason. There are things about reality I don't understand. There are things I've been told about reality that are totally wrong. There are things that I've been told about myself that are totally wrong. And this trauma and this suffering is not my fault. All right? And we may go into a period of time where we have to blame society and we blame our parents and we blame all these things on everyone else, and we go through that. And again, so long as we're moving from a place of compassion for ourselves rather than, I shouldn't be doing this isn't spiritual, this is wrong, this is bad, wherever we are, if we can infuse compassion, okay, it's going to change your life. Compassion is key. So if you're ever wondering, what do I do? What do I do with this? What do I do with this insight? Well, I don't know what to do with this meditation. I don't know but compassion. Okay? Compassion. Just be nice to yourself. Start to really, really get in there and see where you just turn on yourself. You turn on yourself so easy. You tell yourself, like, I should be this different way. I should be better. Right? This thing should have led me to understanding this. I don't know what to do with this now. I've seen this thing and I don't know what to do. Compassion. Everything comes down to compassion. You let yourself in, okay? Because this compassion is the cornerstone of everything. Because again, your traumas are things you don't understand. They're wounds. You're hurting. Your self-sabotaging behaviors are trying to protect you. You're hurting, and these things are trying to protect you and help you. If you are going to be mean to them, you're never going to understand yourself. Okay? If you want to start to see, right? If you're asking me, but Allie, you're talking about how my perception of reality is so out of alignment with how reality actually is, and I don't even know how am I going to find it? Compassion. You're going to reveal it to yourself. Okay? And again, remember, the things that you're going to reveal to yourself are hidden in plain sight. It's going to be obvious. It's going to be like, yeah, of course that's the thing. Of course that's how it is. Of course, of course. But you're so afraid to see it right now because it means a lot. Right? And that's the big thing, is we got to understand there's a reason we're hiding these things from ourselves. Because it means change. It means real fundamental, existentially, how you're seeing yourself in the world shift. And that's what's so scary about this, right? Is that it's questioning our capacity to see. It's not even questioning what we're seeing. It's questioning, like, your ability to see. And that's scary. All right? So you're not going to let yourself do this. You're not going to awaken to how reality is and how you are and to what really needs to happen unless you have compassion for yourself. Because if you're coming in as a drill sergeant, you're too afraid. You're too afraid. And the thing that you're going to see, you're already so afraid of. Okay? So you need to have compassion. You're never going to move forward if you don't have compassion for yourself. And if you really believe that if you have compassion for your self-sabotaging behavior, if you have compassion, or you're just letting yourself off the hook and you'll stay that way forever, you're not really doing it. You're not really doing it. I guarantee you. You're not. Okay? You're saying, yeah, no, I have compassion for myself. I'm giving myself permission to do this thing. It's fine. I'm loving myself. But you're not. You're still feeling guilty. You're still telling yourself you shouldn't be doing it. You're still telling yourself it's wrong. You're still saying, well, look, now I'm just so lazy that I'm doing this. No. True compassion is, okay, honey, I love you. I see you. I want to understand you. I don't understand why you're doing this. I don't understand why you're doing this. I think I do. But if I truly understood why you were doing this, I wouldn't still be doing it. So I don't understand why you're doing this, but I choose to believe that you have a good reason. You're helping me. You're helping me. You're helping me. How are you helping me? This is the thing, okay? Which leads to the second C, which is curiosity. You start to become curious about everything. You're no longer in the business of fixing shit. You're no longer in the business of getting rid. Okay? You're not trying to fix yourself or change yourself or fix the reality or change the reality. Not to say that you won't change any of these things, because you will. It's paradox. But you're not coming in with that being your intention. The intention is always to understand. Okay? Because it's only through understanding that you can create a true positive shift or change. Okay? And once you understand that creating the true positive shift and change, that's second nature. That's the easy part. That will be the thing that just naturally unfolds. Well, I mean, you'll be scared to do it and all these things, but you'll have clarity on that. But that is only possible from understanding. And we will never get to understanding if we're coming at it from this angle of, I'm going to change this because it's wrong and bad. Okay? We will never be able to change anything until we understand it. We will never be able to understand something so long as we're judging it as wrong and bad. So that's why we need to have curiosity. Your whole thing now, okay? You're no longer looking to fix. You're no longer looking to change. You're no longer looking as that being the goal. Get rid of this thing because I hate it. Curiosity. Why do I feel this way? What is this feeling showing me? Why do I do this? I don't actually know. Why do I perceive this the way that I perceive it? How do I perceive this thing? What is the story I'm telling myself here? What's my expectation of reality and how is that different from what's actually happening? What's the story I'm telling myself about how this is happening? Is that really true? Is this really happening the way that I'm thinking it's happening? Get curious, okay? And so again, you can see this curiosity part. This is where we can see there is no quick fix. You need to get curious and be curious for the rest of your life. Curiosity killed the cat. It will save the human. Okay? Curiosity is everything. Why? We need to become like a child who asks why about everything and then gets open to hearing the answer, right? Maybe we get curious about, why don't I want to fix this thing? Why don't I want to change? Do I really even want to change? What am I getting out of this? How is this thing serving me? How is this thing helping me? I know this ties in with compassion, but truly, everything that we're doing, we start to approach it with, okay, well, there is a positive intention here. This is helping me with something. What is it? We get curious about everything, every emotion, every feeling, every sensation, everything that's going on in the body, all the things we reject. Let's get curious. Why do I reject this thing? Why do I hate this part of my body so bad? Why do I hate this? Why do I hate this part of my personality so much? Why do I think this is not okay? What do I think this is? What does this mean? Curious, curious, curious. Get curious about everything. And the third thing is commitment. You commit to this. This is who you are now. This is what you do now. You're not looking to just get rid of this part of yourself so you can just be happy and blissed out forever. You commit to your practices, okay, for the long haul. That's the first part of commitment, is that don't be the kind of person who's just going to decide they're going to go from, running none to running 7 miles a day. No, you're not. You can't commit to that. It's too big of a change. It's too much. And if you want to become someone who can run a marathon from someone who doesn't run at all, The way to do that is incremental, slow changes over time. Okay? The way to get to your after, like that after that I talked about, where you don't feel like such a victim to life and you feel better and you can manifest the things that you want in your life and you can know yourself better and you can face your fears and you can do all this stuff, is by incremental shifts over long periods of time. I did not get to where I am at because of a thing. There was no turning point, right? There were definitely big moments, but all of those moments were built up to through all the things that I did before. So this is what we need to understand. Change and growth and awareness and awakening and all of this happens one little brick at a time. We build it. Okay, so you need to understand, you didn't build all your false perceptions and this life that you have that's based around all your false perceptions in one thought. You didn't build it because someone said something to you one time. You didn't build it because you got one wrong idea and then that was it. This has been something you have been building for your whole life up till right now. So to think that you're going to do one or two little things for like 6 months or a year and you're going to be a totally different person is ridiculous. Because now you have to dismantle the whole thing and rebuild a whole new thing. Okay? So you have to be committed. This is your life now. Okay? And again, going back to what we were talking about at the beginning, your traumas and your self-sabotaging behaviors and all of these things, this is the point of your life. This is what you came here to learn. Those traumas tuned your perception to your curriculum. The things about reality that you needed to know, it tuned out everything else because all of reality is too big. We can't absolutely know everything. We can't be aware of all of it, otherwise we'd be overwhelmed with information. Okay? Your traumas have tuned your perception to what you need to know to create what you came here to create. So you've got it. It's all there. That's the point of your life. Your traumas are the point of your life. So there's no more race to get rid of it. Okay? We're compassionate and we're curious about it and we're committed to learning about it. We're committed to learning and we understand that what we're going to learn is so nuanced. Okay? We have to have a PhD in our traumas. We have to know every single little detail about the reality that we're looking at. We have to become absolute experts at this area of reality where our trauma is in order to create what we want to create. So we're not going to learn that in a semester or in a year or in a couple of years. That's like stuff we're going to be learning about forever. So, and like I say, we get to a point where it's no longer so suffering because we've understood it to a point that we can work with it. Yeah? And now we're just expanding upon our knowledge of it and we're not resisting it so much and assuming that it's all wrong. Our perception has shifted enough that we can be learning and it's not traumatic to learn anymore. Okay, that's really what will happen. But you'll see that you're going to just learn from it forever. There's always going to be new information. There's always going to be something else you're learning. It's going to be nuanced. It's going to be complex. It's going to be textured. It's going to be deep and it's going to be mature. So there's no more of this, just tell me the answer. What's the aspect that I just need to express that I'm not expressing? What's the thing I need to know? What's the trauma? It's a lot. There's so much information. You don't want a quick fix because that quick fix would not contain enough information for you to live your life. And like I say, you living your life is going to be an evolution, a constant evolution. There is no retirement. There is no heaven. There is no done. If you're really living, you commit to the fact that you're living. And you're going to be learning and creating and learning and creating and learning and creating on the spiral staircase forever. You go in, you go out, you go in, you go out. And this is how we change our lives, right? We go in, we have compassion, we have curiosity. This leads to, eventually, awareness, which then leads us to taking action that we swore we'd never take, that we swore we'd never do. We confront our conditioning, we do all the scary things. We start to see, okay, it works out. I got rejected, the worst thing happened, but look, I'm fine. Okay, go in, do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, and act, and then your whole life changes. Okay, so I'm not saying awakening is just about changing on the inside and your outside stays the same. Not at all. You're going to change your whole life. But you're going to do it intelligently through the acquisition of new information. Okay, you are not going to change your life from rejecting anything Because when you're rejecting something, you don't understand it. You don't understand why it's there. You're not learning. That's a devolution. Anything that you try and do from a place of rejection is a devolution. Anything that you try and do from a place of rejection is a devolution. You are breaking yourself down. The only way to build yourself up is to move from understanding, which requires new awareness, which requires compassion and curiosity. Okay? And then really, at the biggest other part about this commitment thing, stop looking for your shit to make you feel better right now. It's not going to. Stop doing this to feel better. Because you will feel better. If you're really doing this, you will feel better. You will get to a point where life stops hurting so much because you're more in alignment with it. But that is a process, and it's going to take time to get to that place. Because first you're going to have to go through all the pain of seeing where your reality was out of alignment with reality, where your perception was out of alignment with reality, where all the things that you've rejected about yourself that need to be expressed, and all these scary things you're going to have to do, okay? So like I say, if someone had come to me 10 years ago and told me what I was going to have to do to get to where I am right now, I would have been like, fuck that, no way, right? There's no way I can do those things. That would make me a terrible person. That would be wrong. I'm going to lose everything. No frickin' way. Right? And that's why I was hiding so much of it from myself. Because it was a lot of big, scary risks. And that's just a part of this. So we commit to the process. It's going to be one little thing that we can handle at a time. You don't actually want to know the whole picture of how to get to your after right now. Because if you revealed it to yourself, you'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. You're going to reveal it to yourself one little thing at a time, one little awareness at a time until you get there. So commit to something sustainable. Commit to a 20-minute meditation. Don't try and do 3 hours a day. Commit to journaling every freaking day. Commit to something. And even if it doesn't make you feel better today, even if it doesn't make you feel better all week, if you sit with the same frickin' emotion for 2 years and you hate it the whole time, do it anyways. Get curious and get compassionate. When you get an insight and you don't know what to do with it, compassion, and then do the exercise again. When it's really time to move on to the next thing, you'll know. You'll reveal it to yourself. It'll either be an external action where you change your life in some way, you quit the job, you leave the marriage, you change your food, whatever, you'll know because there's going to be peace and there's going to be a sense of rightness about it. Or you keep doing your practices until something becomes clear. Okay? And then also understanding that sometimes that thing that becomes clear that you're going to have to do is going to be the scariest thing you've ever done. And we do it anyways. We're committed. This isn't about always feeling good. All right? It's about tuning in and understanding, does this feel right? Does this feel right? Not a lot of the things that I did felt good right away. Sitting with my painful emotions doesn't feel good. Now it does. I've learned, right? My perception has shifted enough, but in the beginning it didn't feel good. I didn't meditate to feel good. Meditation was horrible. It was excruciating, right? Yoga, hurt. Journaling, not fun. You do it anyways. Get rid of this idea that it's supposed to make you feel better right now. Get rid of this idea that you're even supposed to know what to do with what you reveal to yourself right now. Just keep going. Get committed. Get compassionate, get curious, and then be committed. Stick this out. This is what's going to do it. This is your life now. Your traumas, your wounds, that's the point of your life until they aren't. Okay? Until you understand them enough that you're a creator, this is the point. Don't try and get rid of them. Anytime you try and move from getting rid of something, you're devolving. Okay? The only way to evolve is to learn. The only way to learn is to be compassionate, curious, and committed. Okay, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave those down below. Like, share, subscribe. You're not doing anything wrong. If it's not moving fast enough for you, you're not doing something wrong. If it's not leading to this big revelation, you're not doing anything wrong. That's just not a reality. This is the reality. It's the long haul. It's the being in it. It's the letting yourself go on the path. And the second you do that, it's going to all feel better, I promise. Okay? So compassion, curiosity, commitment. None of this is wrong. The traumas are the point of your life. That's why you're here. So relax and do the process. All right? I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.